Welcome. My name is Mwalimu Digital Kamau Mbugua, and I am with me on the bench once more with my friend Festus Ngari. Karibu, Bwana Festus.
Asante.
Festus is a workers' union representative. He has a past experience for a long time as a substitute, as a secretary, and he is gunning for the same position for a second time. And I'm happy to have him on the show. And we'll be having a follow-up on the conversation that we had last week. You took us through the first pillar of your campaign, of your messaging that you are doing to your electorate. And I'm happy to host you a second time. And today I would like to know what you have for the second pillar. But before we go there, I'll give you a chance to say hi to the audience and just introduce yourself afresh, just in case there's somebody who would not have had a chance to listen to you. Most welcome, Mr. Festus Ngari.
Hello, viewers. Thank you very much for welcoming me into your studios, Mwalimu Digital. My name is Ngari Festus, an employee of Nairobi County Government and a long-serving trade unionist, if I may say so. And once again, an opportunity has come to go back to our fellow workers to ask for mandate so that we can continue giving them service. As it is, they say service to people is service to God. And therefore, even as I ask for your vote, I know and I'm convinced and I have the passion. And I know this is a voice coming from God that you given an opportunity, I want to serve you to better your welfare. Because basically the work of the trade union is to improve the working conditions, improve terms and conditions of services. And that's where now I'm led now to come to discuss my second pillar. Well,
thank you and most welcome. Well, things are happening at a very terrific space. Maybe you could be having some new things in a new development at your place of work that may be relevant to this conversation.
Basically, yes, a lot of things are improving because the campaign period kicked off immediately after nomination. And therefore, we are experiencing new challenges that are coming from our employees. Because with the challenges that came with COVID-19, with the embracement of technology, there are quite a number of things that have changed. But most of all, the thing that has brought down the working morale is the fact that there is no harmonization of terms and conditions of services. We have taken too long without negotiating a collective bargaining agreement. The issue of schemes of service has not been embraced, and the job evaluation exercise has not brought us to say exactly what it means to have equal.
Well, so my friend Festus, you did mention that your second pillar is the equal pay for equal work done. Make me understand, what exactly is happening? Are you having challenges? Do you feel that some people who are disenfranchised by doing completely equal work to some people and getting lower remuneration or something?
It is exactly that, but let me put you into perspective that during the time of devolution, we have defunct employees of former local authorities.
Yes.
We have devolved employees that came from the national government. And we also have employees who have been employed by the existing governments after devolution.
Those are three different categories.
Those are three different categories.
Yes.
You will find that if it's a cadre of, for example, an accountant, the accountant who was in the local authority earns different perks from an accountant that came from the national government. And is also earning different from the accountant who has
been
recently
been
employed after the season of devolution. If the qualification cuts across the board for that particular job, it is the duty of the union to ensure that all the other stakeholders are brought on board to ensure that there is equal pay for work of equal value. Meaning if it's an accountant one, whether you are devolved or you are defunct or you are newly employed, but you are doing the same kind of job, same qualification and same office, you are take home.
Should be the same.
should be at par.
So you have one cadre, the accountant is one example of people who are suffering that kind of an injustice, if
Yes,
you may call it. So do you have another cadre who is having the same?
Yes, we have another cadre of employees, and this one includes the nurses, the clinical officers, and the doctors. And I can go on record that the most strikes that have taken place since the date of devolution have affected mostly the doctors, nurses, and the clinical officers, simply because they work in the same institutions, but their take-home is completely different. Their responsibilities are the same.
So the question comes then, how does this one happen? Who is sleeping on the job, according to you? To ensure, to see to it that we have such an unfortunate scenario where we have 3 different characters, 3 different employees working for the same government, doing the same kind of quality and quantity of the same job, but having a different take-home at the end of the month. Who is sleeping on the job in this case?
Let me say that all the stakeholders are sleeping on the job, but there is a one that I will give bigger responsibility. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission, in its formation and with the Gazette notice that brought them into operationalization. First, there was the Transition Authority, which was in existence for 3 years to ensure that there is seamless flow of services, either from local authorities to national government or from national government to county governments. After which now the role of the staff and the welfare of staff in terms of harmonization, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission was tasked to bring on board the stakeholders, the ones that I can call the tripartite for this case, where the employers are involved and the employees are involved through their union. And I say that this union, as currently constituted, has not given enough pressure.
You feel like they have not been bothered and concerned by this issue as much as it is to the disadvantage of the worker?
They either are not aware or they are simply ignorant or they are simply not willing. Because this is an issue that they should have taken as a big priority so that we do not fight in the same house.
Yes.
We are earning from the same employer, same payroll, same job.
But our take-home is different.
But our take-home is different. Okay. It is logical that we should simply have harmonized terms and schemes of services.
Now before you go there, maybe it might be good to hear from you. When you say that SRC, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, is sleeping on the job, maybe you could, I might be interested to know what exactly, what was the mandate of SRC, and especially in as far as it affects you are the case that you are listening in this particular case, the issue of an equal pay for equal work done. Would you give me a breakdown of exactly what is expected of SRC to the extent that if only they did their job, that the issue we are talking about will not arise?
With the implementation of Constitution of Kenya 2010, the mandate of SRC was to set the salaries for state officers and advise public service employees. Beyond that mandate, there were other circulars that were coming either from Ministry of Public Service, either from the county, currently we call it the Ministry of Devolution. And they were taking into recognition that there will be a lot of imbalances as now the 48 governments are being formed, 47 of them being county and the 48th one being the national government. And that it's at that particular point in time when functions were being passed over from this body to this other body, that SRC was given the mandate to chair to conclusion. And they even had deadlines for that particular matter.
And see to it that there is job evaluation, harmonization.
We call it equity and justice for workers.
Okay.
Because the chapter in the Constitution that relates our relationship as employees is Article 41, which is called Labor Relations Chapter, which is also under the Bill of Rights, because workers' rights are human rights.
Correct, true.
and they should also be given much priority, considering that this is the engine that runs.
So to the best of your knowledge, do you feel like SRC has carried out its mandate in a way that actually ends up addressing the concern that you are raising, which is detrimental to the welfare of the runners?
To speak the truth, the SRC has simply done nothing. In fact, when they were created, their first 6 years was to fight unions. They even imagined that they were actually the trade union themselves. They forgot that the trade union are established and anchored under the laws of this country. And them, they are established under different laws of this country, whereby for the trade union, it is the Labor Relations Act. For SRC, it is completely a different chapter within the Constitution.
But each one of them has the right of existence by law.
They have their right of existence. The trade union has its right of existence and its right and duties and mandates.
Right.
Yes.